What has the last week been like for you?
Lots of tequila. It's been great.
To kill ya.
It's been great. No, there's just so many moments where we're sitting there looking at each other like, wow, we really won this thing. Because May and June, I keep on saying it was getting scary. It was looking spooky out there.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bird's Eye View. Today's guest is a player whose vision, IQ, and passing ability are absolutely incredible. She is a 4-time WNBA champion, and let's not forget, she won Finals MVP during her second championship run in 2022, a 6-time All-Star, 2-time gold medalist, one of the most clutch players the game has ever seen. She's the definition of staying calm under pressure. I'm talking none other than the point god herself, Chelsea Gray. But before we get into that interview, you know what time it is. It's time for Sue's View. Support for Bird's Eye View comes from the all-electric Toyota BZ. What would convince you to go electric? An EPA estimated driving range rating up to 314 miles, versatile charging capability compatible with most public chargers, available premium JBL 9-speaker audio. With the all-electric Toyota BZ, you can get all of the above and more. Available all-wheel drive models with X mode and grip control give you enhanced traction, and the BZ's portable dual-voltage charging cable gives you flexibility to power up the way you want. The all-electric BZ, one drive can change your mind. Learn more at toyota.com/BZ. Toyota, let's go places. This week, bringing my boy Tommy back. Tommy, I know we're talking Dynasties. What you got for me?
I want to start by asking, just broadly speaking, how do you define a dynasty?
Great question. I don't know. Like, you know, when you see it, it's a great question because I've been thinking about it. I do think there's something to a lot of championships in a short period of time. I don't think it has to have a back-to-back championship in it. Some people do. I don't think it has to have that. Like the Minnesota Lynx never went back-to-back. That's certainly a dynasty. But it's sustained greatness with, in large part, the same group of people in a short period of time with championships. What about you?
Okay. Before I get to my thoughts, because I have a bunch of follow-up questions to this, my first specific question, and we can run through some of the W franchises that are like borderline dynasties. Is there an amount of gap of time in between championships that would kind of like change the word dynasty and turn it more into just like consistently great franchise? And the first example I want to bring up is the Mercury, who won in 07, 09, and 2014. Like, does a 5-year gap mean that they just have been good for a long time, but like that it's not a dynasty because it's too long in between?
Yeah, now we're going to get in the weeds, I think. So the reason why I wouldn't call that a dynasty is because they did it with like a different core group of players. But I do want to say, I also recognize there can be franchises, can be dynasties when they've won in like different decades, eras with different players, but they've had to have had runs within those generations, right? Like, I don't know, maybe like the Yankees or even, UConn women's basketball is a great example, right? There's certain years, like Brianna Stewart was a dynasty.
UConn women's basketball feels like they're at a different I don't even know what the word is for that, but that's not dynasty.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was like Diana won 3 in a row. Yeah. That's like a dynasty. But then they had a huge gap till they won the next time.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's like dynasties within dynasties. And I think for Phoenix, it's not a dynasty because of what I just said.
This is funny because this puts you in a hard spot, but I was going to ask about the Storm. And you guys have won in 04, 10, 18, and 20. And it's like, you're the constant. But it's like,
am I my own dynasty?
Yeah, you're your own dynasty. Because like clearly these are completely different rosters.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would consider that to be, it's a really successful franchise, but it's hard to say that those teams are dynastic considering you're basically the only constant in any of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think I would describe the Storm as a dynasty. I definitely have a lot of pride in winning 4 different times with essentially 4 different coaches. The constant between 2004 and 10 was really just me and Lauren.
Yeah.
And then the constant with 2018 and 20 was a starting 5. And that's where I just went on Candace Parker's pod, her and Aaliyah Boston post moves, and Candace asked me a great question, just kind of looking back, what years do you think got away from you? And I had an answer. The answer is 2008 for totally different reasons. But when I look back at 2019 and then 2021, we never got to run it back. And I think that would have been my chance. So in 2019, Stewie and I are hurt. We don't play that season. And then in 2021, we lose 2 starters to free agency. This is sports.
Yeah.
We don't know that we win. We don't know what happens. But I look back at that and I'm like, man, that was my chance. That was my chance at a dynasty. Because technically that team, that starting 5 was 2 for 2. We played 2 years together. We won twice.
The what if stuff's really interesting. I was going to run through a few of these other teams that I kind of want to just get your perspective on whether they were dynasties or not. But it feels like the LA Sparks, who won in 01 and 02, but they're still kind of a what if dynasty because of Houston, because they almost won in 99 and 2000. It's like if they win, if they had won even one more of those, it's probably a no brainer.
Yeah, they were knocking. I bet that's probably Lisa Leslie's answer to the years she wished she could get back.
So the Comets won 97 to 2000, Swoops, Cooper, Thompson. That's clear, right? That's a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, clear.
Sparks on the edge. Back to back is back to back. I know.
I don't think back to back means dynasty. I think you have to add to it. Personally.
Detroit Shock, 3 titles in 6 years.
I think that's a dynasty.
They're
definitely on the lower end of the list here in terms of qualification, but I think it's a dynasty.
I feel like the Lynx are sort of in their own category too in the 2010s. 4 titles, 6 finals appearances, 40-15 playoff record, 10 sweeps. But there was some space between these and it was different rosters at different points. Where do you categorize them?
Yeah, no. So I wouldn't say that. What I would say the opposite actually. So you're absolutely right. 4 titles in 7 years. They essentially went every other year. But the reason why, well, first of all, it's just a dynasty, period, point blank. It's the same coach. Shorei's been there the whole time. It's the same 4 players on all 4 of those championship teams in Maya Moore, Simone Augustus, Lindsay Whalen, and Rebecca Brunson. And then, the Sylvia Fowles, just the hammer that she ended up bringing to that roster. She gets thrown in there, but that's just for the last 2 titles. I think having that core group of 4 extend through all those championships, that like solidifies it. That might put them as number 1 because of that for me.
The same coach thing is interesting. That kind of gets back into the college discussion. I mean, college is trickier to judge these things in general. Obviously, you guys, are UConn is the dynasty of all dynasties, but even in, Tennessee, obviously South Carolina more recently, and then on the men's side, it's like the Dukes and but it does feel like having the constant of the coach can make the fact that you are going to have just undoubtedly more roster turnover. And if you keep winning, it's like you probably would still call these teams dynasties just for winning. I mean, UConn has it in men's and women's, and so, but it does feel like the distinction is a little bit different with how the makeup of the teams.
Yeah. And I think that's what you can make this argument for college too. So I'm not trying to make it a competitive thing, but pro sports, there's so much that can happen in terms of free agency and in terms of roster turnover. And that's what makes it difficult, right? Like Phoenix, you bring up those teams, they won with Diana Taurasi, Cappie Pondexter. And yes, they had Penny Taylor as well as a bunch of other talented players. But then when you fast forward, they got 2 titles together. When you fast forward to 2014, now you've got Brittany Griner, Candice Dupree, along with Penny Taylor. And I think DeWanna Bonner actually was on probably 2011 and 14. So there is some crossover there. But it's like, I think the roster just changed so much where kind of, I don't know. Now I'm talking myself into them being a dynasty.
Yeah, see, it's tricky.
What a question.
You can make the argument. I mean, this is what makes this a fun conversation. The Aces now are objectively a dynasty, right?
Yes.
35 and 15
Stamped.
playoff record, back-to-back, 3 and 4 years. That feels like it hits all the
metrics,
the marks of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think it will be harder moving forward for teams to do what they've done with the expansion?
I do. I do. Not necessarily because of the expansion. So not because of expansion. I mean, you might even make an argument it might be easier because of expansion. That's a whole other conversation. I think because of what we talked about, Tommy, with Cam on Young Man 3, just about CBA, money going up. It's gonna get interesting because money has never truly been a factor in WNBA free agency. In fact, people were taking less, historically taking less, top players taking less to stay on good teams. But we were talking, a $10,000, $20,000 pay cut because you wanted to be good and you knew there was going to be a financial benefit if you were good. Now it might be you're not taking $100,000 pay cuts. You're not taking $200,000, $300,000 pay cuts. So that's the big question mark as we head into this new era of a new CBA.
What traits besides the obvious talent do you feel like all of these teams that we've just talked about, all these dynasties have in common?
Well, first and foremost, we just said it. They all had the same coach. I think having the same coach, having, if not the same, a very similar core group, I think that's really important. And especially in the WNBA, because again, all the teams we're talking about, they played in an era where you didn't have a long training camp. I mean, they still don't really have a long training camp, but people were coming in late from overseas. Any team that had a core group that was together multiple years always had a leg up at the start of a season. Always. They were just a little bit ahead of other teams. So that plays a role. And then, I mean, the MVP.
Yeah.
You got to have an MVP. Now I'm thinking out loud. Does that MVP have to be in their prime? Is that a trait that we're kind of seeing? Like Maya Moore, MVP in her prime. Asia, obviously MVP in her prime. If you go to Houston's, actually, Cynthia Cooper, you could argue was like, because she was older. Obviously, the WNBA started when she was an older player. But like Cheryl, Tina, they were entering their primes. Detroit might be the one team that they didn't have, nobody won. I'm thinking out loud again. Yeah, nobody on that team ever won league MVP. So they're an outlier.
I would say the other point besides this is and this I think is relevant to dynasties across all sports. I'm thinking about like the Patriots for a second, who obviously have Tom Brady, so they have an MVP, but they have role players who've been there before who just step up. And I do think about this playoffs she's not a role player, she's a star, but like aces aren't here if Jackie Young doesn't have that tip in.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And it's like plays like that just happen that are like, it's not always the star doing it. It's just people who have been in the moment before, you're about to interview one in a minute. And it's like, this is the more you've done it, and you can speak to this better than almost anybody, but the more you've done it, not that it's going to guarantee success, but it feels like the calmer you are in these moments, and that kind of can't be like faked. You kind of either live through it or not.
Yeah, it's hard to teach somebody experience. You can't, right?
Yeah.
You just have to experience it. So I definitely think that's true. You just reminded me of something. There's this book. It's called The Captain Class. It is by Sam Walker. I actually had the chance to meet him, chat with him. He did a whole book on dynasties and the captains of those dynasties. Didn't always have to be the captain of the team. And honestly, he did the Spurs, U.S. women's soccer team, Connecticut Huskies gets a nod in there. The All Blacks in New Zealand, all these different dynasties across all different sports. And it's interesting because he talks about the traits and he gets in the weeds on it. And where he lands is there's always there's one player in each of those dynasties, and it wasn't the MVP. Now each player in each dynasty was different. So it wasn't one trait, but he called it the captain's class for a reason. Yeah. And it makes sense.
It's such an interesting thing to do a deep dive on every championship team has one or two people like this who are not, usually not the star.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the captain reliable. I think you were talking about this. I don't know that we've talked about it with this particular Aces team because it's kind of just so fresh. But I think when they beat the Liberty, you're talking about this about Alicia, right?
Yeah, AC.
Yeah, how she was just somebody that was like, she just knows how to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember when they won the game, when they beat the Liberty a couple years ago in New York, and they had all these injuries, and they kind of had no business winning that game health wise, but you were just like, they know how to win, and they're comfortable. Plum was another one on that team. You just was like, you're just comfortable. They know how to.
That's a great point.
But
yeah, because Chelsea Gray, who's coming up next, she breaks her foot. You had two players like in boots, Chelsea and Kia Stokes. And those were two huge holes that need to be filled. And AC played a big role in that. And to your point, it wasn't about, what was really impressive. She had to play the 4 a lot. She was like playing the 3, she was playing the 4. It wasn't necessarily doing the things she always did, but she just knew. She knew exactly what needed to be done. And that's literally whatever needed to be done, she did.
Interesting thing about watching, I think the Liberty Lynx last year was like this. The NBA finals with Indy OKC was like this year too. When you have two teams that have not won, I mean, Stewie had won before in a different, setting. But when you have two teams who've not won, it's like people finding that stuff in real time.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're always going to kind of take the side of the team that's been there before, I think, in a deciding game, just because they are going to be, because they have that experience. But when you have two who haven't done it, it's kind of like they're figuring it out on the fly.
Yeah. And now you're kind of leading me to, this question of when you've won multiple times and you look back on it, and I can ask Chelsea Gray this question, what's harder? When I think back on the first time I've won things, whether it was in college, WNBA, so on and so forth, it's easier because you have an ignorance about you. But it's also really hard because you've never done it. And you're, flying the plane while building it. And I think as you go, and this is to circle back on dynasties in general, as you go along in your career and you win multiple times, the ignorance is no longer. You know too much. And now you're stressed about everything because you know too much. And winning under that, mindset has its own difficulties. So it's always, I find stuff like that in sports so fascinating. So we have the perfect person to ask. So let's get to Chelsea. Chelsea Gray, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I've got big news for you. You are now an official member of the 4 Rings Club.
4 of them.
Let's go. Let's 4 of them things.
I know.
Let's go.
It's crazy.
Fun fact, for those that don't know, you are now the only active WNBA player to have 4 rings, to be playing with 4 rings. So that's really cool. Give it to us. Give us just what has the last almost week now, what has the last week been like for you?
Lots of tequila. It's been great.
Tequila.
It's been great. No, there's just so many moments where we're sitting there looking at each other like, wow, we really won this thing. Because May and June, I keep on saying it was getting scary. It was looking spooky out there. It was great. We still internally were just like, come on, y'all. We just need we need to go on a run. We didn't know it was going to be that type of run that we went on. But we were just we need to start stacking games and being better. No matter where we're at, listed in the playoffs and standings, we needed we wanted to feel better.
Right. Yeah.
And I was always listen, you want to be playing your best basketball going to the playoffs. I don't care what May and June look like, but you want to be playing your best in September.
The truth is, I feel like that's something you always say. Teams always say that when they're kind of hey guys, we just gotta find our groove. Hey guys, we just gotta get momentum. We want to be playing great in the playoffs. But not everybody does it. Not everybody actually does it. And we're going to get in. I mean, I have so many questions. We're going to get into all of that. Okay. But you kind of already said it. This season, I hope there were cameras following you guys. This is what sports documentaries and sports movies, it had everything. It had everything. It had the lows. Mm-hmm. It had the come together moment in the vehicle. This time was Asia's text message. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. But my question to start off is actually when you're in your quiet moments on this one, and you kind of touched on it, when you and your teammates are around each other, when it gets quiet for a second and it's just you, what are the feelings that are coming up? I feel with each championship, you probably had a different feeling or theme to it. So when you're in your quiet moments, joy, relief, satisfaction. Like there's so many different. What does this one bring up for you?
It's a lot more emotional than the other ones. Like, it's like, whoo, whoo. Like, it's a lot more, like, up and down. Like, I'm thinking back to how it, like, personally, individually, how I was playing in May and June. It was nowhere near the level that I wanted to play at, and it wasn't going to be good enough. Like, flat out, it wasn't going to be good enough. I'm sure a lot of people would say that, like, about our team, like, individuals would say that, like, I was not playing the way I wanted to play. It was a lot of joy and, like, relief. And, like, I feel like from about July, August, I feel like I was holding my breath, like just waiting and just like, whew, okay. And then finally when we won, it was like, I remember like sitting on the bus and I was just sitting there like this. Like I wasn't even texting. I wasn't drinking champagne. it was like a sigh, and like I finally let out like a big gasp of air. And then I would say a lot of like joy and happiness. I'm like proud of myself. You know, you're proud of your team, but I'm proud of like my journey this year, especially after all the noise and all the stuff from last year.
It's interesting you say relief, especially just because you guys obviously have high expectations of yourselves. But then the way the season was going, it's hard to call you like a surprise. But at the same time, like the way it unfolded, it was like, holy shit, like they just won 16 in a row. Like, holy shit, they're in the finals, you know? So to hear you say relief, I think my first thought, and the kind of what I want to ask you is, was it because of 2024, that season, the noise? Then you have a high of Unrivaled. You're like, okay, I'm an Unrivaled champ. I'm playing well. I'm taking all that energy into the WNBA season. And then like you said, May and June, you felt like you weren't like quite there yet. So just kind of like that roller coaster, is that where some of that relief lives?
For sure. I was hurt in 50, 60, some days not even that, last year. And so it was really, I don't get a lot of like gratification from outside noises, right? That's not really around me because I know what I do. But it was hurtful, like even people that I felt like understood how good I was and how good I am. And for me to have 1 year and all that kind of be like, oh, this is the representation of what this player is now and what I am going to be in the future. And oh, she's done. Oh, she's this, like that. Like I'm just like, damn, y'all, 1 year, somebody get hurt. And it's just all of these things just kept on flooding like my head and my space. And then yes, I go to Unrivaled and it's just like, F you guys, like I'm back. Like I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, and I said it like after winning, I was like, y'all like keep that same kind of energy. And then I started the season, I'm like, damn, Chelsea, you talking shit, now you need to back it up and what's going on here? And then July and August come around and things start like turning and we win in the way we won. We came at the whole league in the world in a wave. Like we overtook a lot of things. And it was like, like here they come. That's the vibe I was getting, like here they come. So for me personally, it was a sigh of relief because all the noise that happened the year before, for sure, the doubt, self-doubt starts to creep in a little bit with all of that, especially when you have one down here and you're used to having a standard. And so it was just really tough. And then you had like Olympics last year. I wasn't the same at the Olympics. Like all of that kind of stuff creeping in. And yeah, the sigh of relief was like, no, you're here. This is who you are. Like, don't ever like second guess that. So I feel like I had to go through that to, figure it out this year. And I won't ever be like that again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. What do you think the biggest lesson is? Is it something like, what are you going to take from really the last, like you said, like the last full year? What are you going to take with you where if you are presented with tough times again, like what are you going to remember?
Mm-hmm. Not to sound like, I don't know, it's not like cliche, but like find joy. Like I've accomplished so much. Like find joy in these moments and like in the process. As much as like it was hurtful and it was hard, like it prepared you for something later. I had no idea. So I was like, find the joy, like keep the joy. There were moments where I was just like, I'm not really having fun. Like, it was hard coming back and just like I felt like a step slow. I'm like, this is not fun. Like, I don't like it. So I would say like find the joy, and I would tell myself like, good job, kid. Like you did what you were supposed to do, where you thought you were capable of doing.
Okay, so what do you think clicked for you personally? We're gonna get into some of the team stuff later, but like for you personally, like what was the corner that you turned?
There was a morning, I remember, and I texted Becky, and I was like, I need to have a conversation with you. And I met in her office, and I started crying. Like, I was super vulnerable, and I was like, listen, this isn't me. Like, I feel like all of these outside pressures, and like, it's taking too much out of me to not give, like, in my team and in the way, like, I win and make other people great. And she was just like, who you are and what you're capable of is enough. Like, don't think outside of what you're doing and what you've been doing all of your career is enough. And I was just like, it is enough. Like, this is how I've become champion. And so after that conversation, we had practice, we had some games. I need to look back into my calendar to see when exactly that conversation was and before which game. But after that, like I went into the game like so much freer. Like I got that off my chest. To the coach was like looking at me in games like we're not really like there were times that me and Becky were beefing and we're like two peas in a pod during the game.
Yeah.
And so it was very uncomfortable, vulnerable to a T. But it kind of shifted my mindset. Like, man, I started dishing the ball. I think I came out with like 8 assists, 7 assists, 10. Like that was the way. Like this program and the way I've been playing. That's what people are used to, and that's how we flow. And so that right there, that conversation was the turning point. I just needed games behind it. I would have like one good game, one good practice, and then and then I was just like, come on, consistency is what you're all about.
Right. What do you think it is about Becky? I feel like I've heard the word vulnerable get talked about a lot in like your run, but then also afterwards. Like all you guys keep talking about like the team and the vulnerability and how you have it and how you show it. What is it about Becky that you felt comfortable to do that and that she like creates an environment where it feels safe to do that?
Yeah, I always say that Becky has this great knack and like balance of like you can come to her like a best friend that you can cry or whatever, but she's also like this person that's going to yell at you and hold you accountable for. And it's like this balance of like, what's up, homie? What's up? What's good? Like she'll talk to you like that. It'll be awesome. And then she'll be like, no, but get your ass on help side. What are you doing over there? What, like we went over this and you're just like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Like it's like she has a great balance of when to hug you or when to like yell at you, when to like bring you along, when to let you like be by yourself. She has a great balance in that. And so it allows us to come to her and like there's this trust that she like radiates. Right? I don't even understand. Like it's just something that it's a gift that she has with people. And so when nothing gets really more intimate except like your family when you're in a close space with your team. And so her kind of creating that environment as soon as she stepped into Vegas, the culture was like established as soon as she got the job. And so it's just been building over time. And I don't know if I would have had that conversation with her the first year, probably the second, but this year it was just like we've built so much trust and like equity in each other that I gotta come with you with honest and raw feeling and emotion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love that. We all have someone in our life who you can go to and do that. Well, I hope people have someone in their life, but to have it be your coach who is the same person that's going to critique you and yell at you and all these things, I think that gives it even more power.
Yeah,
you know, when you can share that with them. Okay. So before you came on the show, I was chatting with Tommy Alter. He comes on, we do like banter before we get into the interviews. And one of the topics that came up was just like dynasties in general. You know, what does a dynasty mean? So first, I'm just going to ask you real fast. Do you have a definition? You guys are a dynasty, so it's not about if. But what is like overall, when you just look at sports, what's like your definition of a dynasty?
Championships, like multiple championships has to be like part of it. Multiple championships. I feel like it's not really like a sentence definition. I feel like there's like what you got to kind of tick off to be a dynasty. You feel me? So like championships won with like the same core, or like maybe you switch out some things, but like the same kind of core, championships. And I feel like dynasties are feared and like looked up to, and sets like the goals. Like people try to like strive to be like this organization, or strive to be like the dynasty. Who doesn't want to like be a dynasty or want to win multiple championships? Like if you don't want, you're in the wrong business if you don't raise your hand, if you don't want to do that, you know? So I feel like that is pretty much like the three things. You can do like different subcategories and stuff, but those three things for sure.
No, I really like the one about being feared, because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like,
and even just sitting here, I'm not going to say it out loud, but even just sitting here and I'm thinking of all the WNBA dynasties, I'm like, I know which ones I was scared of and which ones I was kind of like, I mean,
you
they're
don't go
right.
and compete and stuff, but just like, damn, we got them. We matching up with them. You know? And
no, it's really,
Minnesota's
I like that
going
one.
that run, like the comments, like when you talk about like stuff like that, like you were just like, all right, we coming for you. And you know, I slid in one championship in there while they were while Minnesota was doing that. But it's just like you kind of like give off the impression like, oh no, you need to come with your shit today if you're gonna be this type of feeling.
Yeah, actually, since you're bringing it up, like, what was it? What was the experience playing against a team that had already at that point won 2 championships? Wait, so 3 championships.
I think it was.
So there were 3. So they were
They
like
won in 2017, yeah.
Yeah, so they won 11, 13, 15. Then you faced them in 2016. So you're playing against a dynasty in the finals. What was that what was it like being on the other side?
Nerve-wracking. It was only my second year in the league, so like I was so what the language was. I was still trying to get caught up in the language, and I always say like I was young. I was like, I'm gonna be here for you guys, but you guys go win us the championship. You guys go get it done. And then now I come to Vegas and we have like rookies and stuff. It's like I'm gonna be here, but you, and I'm looking like, dang, the seats really changed here.
Oh yeah, the roles are reversed.
Yeah. But it was fun, man. I learned so much, like just being in those moments, how to be calm within like a storm. Like it was rocking in Minnesota, and it was Game 5. Like we won on their home floor. I've never won a championship at home, and so that was my experience doing that in Mini. Game 5 off of an old board after I bricked it. Doing a turnaround favor.
You had a game winner. You had game winners that series. Like
That's true. I'm just saying, like, I bricked it. Thank God, NECA got it and did a putback. But it was a learning experience of like the game's never over, how to make changes from game 1 to game 2. That was my first experience of like doing that. Like, how do you get better in the playoffs? One tweak or one change can change a whole series or a whole game, because it makes all the difference. We made a change in game 1 when we went zone that changed the trajectory of that game. It's like little things that you had no idea that made such a big difference until you're in it.
Support for Bird's Eye View comes from the all-electric Toyota BZ. You know you've been thinking about going electric. You've searched the internet, admired friends' EVs, but you've been hesitant to take the plunge. The all-electric Toyota BZ might just be the electric vehicle you've been waiting for. The Toyota BZ is a battery electric vehicle designed to do more. The BZ's advanced all-electric powertrain features an EPA-estimated driving range rating up to 314 miles. All-wheel drive models have 338 horsepower and near immediate torque you can feel. And you can charge the way you want to. BZ is compatible with most public chargers. But the features don't stop there. Regenerative braking paddle shifters let you dial in the level of regenerative braking to suit your personal preference. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and SiriusXM seamlessly connect you to all your devices. And an available panoramic view moonroof lets you take in the scenery wherever you roam. Did I mention its striking design and sleek, powerful lines? Go from skeptic to electric in the all-electric Toyota BZ. The all-electric BZ. One drive can change your mind. Learn more at toyota.com/BZ. Toyota. Let's go places. Yeah. No, I noticed in watching your guys' finals run, there was a lot of, and I want to get into that too. God, there's so much I want to get into because you guys did a lot of junk defenses, which I loved. It really changed the thing up. So one more question, something that Tommy and I talked about earlier also that I want to get your opinion on. All right. So now you've won with like different stakes, right? So there's in LA, you're a rookie and it's like your first one. So that like, that's one type of like stake. Then you get to Vegas and it's your first time as a group in 2022.
Mhm.
So there's still some like newness to it. It's still your first time, but you're like a vet, you're experienced, you've won before.
Yeah.
That's a different version. And then you see where I'm going. Then you went back to back. And now this one, you had to like come out of a hole to find it. So which do you think is what's like the hardest? What
This
type
one.
of, really this one?
This one was tough.
Why? Tell me why.
And I know like we swept. Like I think it was tough from the standpoint of where we were May or June and how we were playing, and our film sessions were tough. Like, there were some uncomfortable.
Put that mirror up, huh? Put that mirror
She was
up.
just like, and if you think it's somebody fault, like look in the effing mirror. Like it was bad. Like this one was really, really tough. 2023 was tough because I wasn't able to play to close it out.
Yeah.
Because I was hurt. So it was just like a different feeling. Like thank you guys. Like, thank you. Even though I wasn't able to play. So this year, just like as a team, we were just like together. Like we got to get there. Like just trucking along, trying to get through. And finally, like we was like, all right, we see a little light at the end of the tunnel. And so this one, I feel like they're all tough, but this one was a battle from May until a few days ago.
Yeah. No, I didn't say it in that way, but I think like where I land is the same. It's like, in some ways, I might say the first one was the easiest because you like didn't know any better.
Yeah.
There was like some ignorance is bliss to it. Then you get older, you win multiple times, and now you like know too much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, so it's like, yeah, I think it's similar. The later ones are just always a little harder. You know a little too much. And then I'm finding it really interesting that, I think 2022 for you were in the fucking flow state of the century. So it's like, that was your easiest one? Is that what? I'm like, you motherfucker were shooting 68%.
I know. And I just, that whole thing, it's not really like a blur. I'm just like, I was so tunnel focused. I lost my mind from September to the end. I was just like.
I was there.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was there. No, it's good. I love how this comes up every time. No, but I'm bringing that up because what is your stance on like clutch gene, right? Because you have become one of the most clutch in the current WNBA, but then I think ultimately it'll be in WNBA history. We already talked about some of your clutch shots in LA. You've continued to do that in all these playoff runs and all these moments. You did it in game 4. We're going to get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. So what's your stance on clutch gene, or how do you describe it when asked about your clutchness?
Somebody that does it consistently, no matter the stage. I think when you do it in regular season, you do it in the playoffs, that just shows up in those moments. And what's crazy, like a lot of those shots, like it's tunnel focus. It's everything. Like in those moments, like you gotta have tunnel focus. Sometimes it might not be the shot. Sometimes you gotta make the greatest decision. Like you need split second like accuracy. Mm-hmm. But the shots that I take, they're not crazy shots. They're like they're the same shots that I would shoot in the first quarter, just like the time on the clock is different, and so your headspace is a little bit different. I will be crazy. I'll be like, oh yeah, the half court shot. Like I've never shot or won a game on a half court shot. All I know is like get into a pull up or a 3, maybe a layup, like something that I've done consistently throughout the course of a game is just in that moment. Like it's a tunnel focus to me. So for me, like clutch is somebody that does it consistently, regular season, playoffs, no matter the time.
Yeah, I think for you, when I think about some of your shots, you're always getting to your spots. It's like you are really doing the things you've done throughout the course of the game, and that's what makes it hard. It's in a sense, all the people guarding you know like what you like to do, and you're still able to do it. So if we move to, the other thing about, I feel like clutch moments, and it sounds like you're saying it too, like you're locked in, it actually gets really quiet.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's like
really calm.
It's just really quiet and calm. Yeah, it's not, honestly, if you feel anxiousness or anything like that, that's actually a tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, is this moment getting to a player? You know, but like generally speaking, in those clutch moments, there's just like a quiet calmness to it.
Yeah, I messed up. I know we're going to talk about team in playoffs, but there was a clutch moment where I turned the ball over game 2 versus Seattle, and I damn near rolled the ball out of bounds when I was trying to pass it to Jackie.
Yeah.
And we do that play 1,000 times. I've passed some crazy passes to Asia and Jackie 1,000 times, and that one I was just a second too early, and oh my gosh, it was eating me up. So it's just like those clutch moments, whether it's a pass or a shot, that one I was just like, I won't be able to come back from if we don't win this series.
Yeah, if you don't win the series, yeah. That was a great play, by the way.
Great.
I wrote that one down.
It was
I was
great.
like, rewind.
Becky's been in the playoffs,
play.
Undefeated.
Yeah, I actually, Jackie came on A Touch More with me and Megan, and she was talking about telling you guys, not you, you've been there. She was telling like the new players, probably like Jewell, Dana, like wait till you see Becky in the playoffs.
Wait till you see her in the playoffs. She comes. I was like, go get in your duffel, Becky. Come on, we've been waiting for it. Come get in your duffel real quick.
Yo, that's so funny you said that, because Jackie was telling us the story and saying, yeah, we always say like she gets in her Birkin in the playoffs. And Megan was like, is that what's in that hood? Is she keeping it in the hood? She's got all of her plays in the We were rolling.
Oh man, her hoodie blazer, man, is taking this league by storm.
Okay, so back to game 4. So game 4 of the finals. And I hear you, by the way. So I want to like debunk this. I know you guys swept. When you're in the playoffs and you're in the finals and it's a series, even when you're up 3-0, you're still like, oh my God, what if they win this one? And then they win the next one, and then they win the next one, and then we're in game 7. Like you have like the fear of what if. Mm-hmm. So it's like that. I feel like people are like, oh, they swept. Nobody should be saying that. Like, that's not how this works when you're in the moment. And so you were in a moment in game 4 where you guys were up a lot. And then they made one of their comebacks. And they did that in game 3 too. But now it's game 4. You know, you want to end this thing. They cut it to, actually, you know what? I'm going to stop there. You hit a bunch of threes. And I'm curious which one of those threes you felt like was most important in that game. And just like on the court, one drive can change your mind on how a game is won. This play of the game is presented by the all-electric Toyota BZ.
I believe it was the one where they just collapsed on Asia at the free throw line. Because I had just hit one, I think, in front of Becky. Mm-hmm. And I had missed a couple pull-ups. Like, I was just like, come on, man. Like, this is right here in my wheelhouse, right there in the paint. And it was kind of contested 3. And Asia I screened for her, and then I popped out, and I'm like, the free throw lane extended, and she passed it to me, and I knocked it down. And I remember Elena Beer sitting on the sideline, and I look at her like this, like I was so pumped because that was a shot that we needed, but it was like they were trying to climb back. They were matching our buckets. They got a couple and ones, but I just needed like one of those, and Asia needed to free up a little bit, and they were helping on her a little too much. And so that one, I believe, was the biggest 3 that I hit.
Okay, so just to give context, you're absolutely right. They were clawing back. They cut it to 6. Yeah. You hit your first 3 in front of Becky. So that kind of pushed it back to 9. So it gave a little breathing room. But you're right. It was like a couple possessions go by. They cut it back to 6 again. Mm-hmm. And so here you are again. There was 5 minutes and 15 seconds. This is the possession we're talking about. And I want you to like go back to that moment. 5 minutes, you're dribbling the ball up the court. When you hit this 3, you extend it back to 9. So it's another big moment. But what are you thinking? Did you call that play intentionally? Mm-mm. Like how did it unfold for you as like the point guard?
Well, they were kind of defending it a little bit different sometimes with Asia at the elbow, knowing she's dangerous there. So I was trying to set like a football blocking screen to allow her to come off with her left. Like she needed a good touch, a good look at the basket. But the way they played it and was able to shoot through it, it was just like I didn't get a good enough screen for her to like completely turn the corner, and she didn't want to force it, which is crazy because a lot of people, when they think about clutch moments or like key moments of a game, they think like, oh, the last 2 minutes, the last minute, the 40-second shot, oh my goodness. But there's turning points in a game where it's just like, oh man, that was a huge one, where it could be a momentum shifter or not. And so in that moment, I was just like, let's try to get her a bucket, or like she goes downhill, she doesn't have it, she kicks it out to the wing and they come off and we use a little bit more of the shot clock. But man, I just come up and set a screen because they were kind of top locking me from me going off. And we've done that play before where Asia's the ball handler and we do a screen and roll. And she stopped. She was like, well, she didn't cross the free throw line really, and popped it back out to me. I was like, let me let it go. I just hit one. It feels good. And it went in. So, and I like that little slot area. So that was cool.
Yeah. Okay. So when you look at the run, like the playoff run in totality, right? A lot of people are going to talk about the sweep, and they're going to forget that you went to a decisive game 3 against the Storm in the first round, decisive game 5 against Indiana in the semis. How did those 2 series and how they played out help you for the finals? And like, what did you learn? Something, did you learn something new about your team in those 2 series, or did it just solidify something that already existed?
Okay, 2 parts. So 1, Seattle and Indiana prepared us for Phoenix, honestly. Because 1, Seattle was long. They were versatile. We had to switch some things. Like you had Brittany Sykes coming off, then you had Gabby Williams, Skylar going downhill, and then you had like a post with NECA, and then like they were long. They had different people that were able to come in and be effective in different areas. Then you have Indiana, super fast with Kelsey Mitchell downhill, defending in your grill, Lexi Hull. I mean, you have a presence inside with Aaliyah Boston. That's going to be a bruiser. They're aggressive defensively. Then we get to Phoenix. That's long, that's versatile. You got Satu, you got Ka, AT. Like you have some versatility there and long defenders, which we face in Seattle. But you also have AT, that's kind of a bruiser, doesn't shoot from the outside, wants to get layups and push down in transition, because Indiana, like, they were off to the races every single time. And so that kind of, us having those 2 series prepared us more with Phoenix than we even understood. What we learned is that we can win in a variety of ways. And our small ball work was really, really good. And us being able to put people in different positions or different moments to win a game with me as the 4 defender, and that our small ball hurt a lot of people because it was really, really hard for people to defend with Jackie going downhill, Dana going downhill, Jewell spacing the floor, Asia in the middle. She has a lot of space because who are you about to help off of? Those like preliminaries, like quarterfinals, semifinals, really prepared us to win in different ways and allowed different people to show up and have their moment. Dana having her moment, Jewell having their moment, Liz coming back in game 2 versus Indiana. Like people had moments to like step up, and so I think I was really proud of that part of it.
Yeah, real quick, you mentioned Kelsey Mitchell. He played against a lot of great players in this run, but she, I feel like, emerged this year and this playoff run, especially with all the injuries they had. She really emerged. What makes her, like, you're doing the scouting report on her, right? What makes her so difficult? Like, I think people don't fully understand.
When they talk about cars that they go 0 to 60 and then stop on a dime, that is Kelsey Mitchell. She can go like from start to finish, stop on a dime, knock down the 3. She finishes around the basket well with her like versatility, able to get to the basket. She'll dribble out. You think you're sleeping and pop a 3. Like she can score like in transition, in the half court. Her stop and go is so like tricky. It's like you don't really want to be up because she's quick enough to go downhill and get past you, but you can't be too far back because she'll stop and pop the 3. You have to play her like one-on-one and stuff like that, but it's like a team defense that's kind of built around her. And it makes it super difficult when you have somebody that can stop and go like that and shoot it at a high clip as well.
Yeah. She was really fun to watch. And she's like a little Energizer bunny out there.
Yeah.
She has like a hop to her.
Yeah.
Like, I think some
It's just
people,
like
when I
she's
say
down the court flying in a couple of
Yeah.
seconds, and next thing you know, I'm looking at the shot clock and the ball's going through the net and there's 18 seconds left. Like, how did you get all the way down here with 4 of us already back, you know?
Yeah, with players like that, with teams like that, you can't relax. That's what
At
makes them so
all.
challenging. Like, the minute you take a beat, just like blink for a second, they're gone. It's so hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but you brought up something else that I want to talk about. I'm like loving this. You're just bringing up all my topics. There were a lot of pivotal moments in this run. You already mentioned Dana Evans in game 1, Jackie's third quarter in game 2, set a record, 21 points. Asia's game winner in game 3. Jewell's threes, like throughout. Honestly, the barrage of threes. You guys in game 3 and 4, I think in both games, definitely in game 3, you hit 9 threes before halftime. I think you did something similar in game 4 too. So first of all, you've kind of already touched on it, but what does that do for you when you're surrounded by players and you're on a team where it could be any given night, it could be anyone's night? How does that help you specifically?
I like to see like who's going that day, like where are they like in the basketball, and it's helpful for me to like do play calls or like certain matchups. There's certain moments where I'm just like, we need to take advantage of it. Even if it's a 2-minute span and it's like 3 possessions in a row, we got to go back to it. We got to exploit it. Because, in the playoffs, there's like this short window where it can make or break a game.
Change the game.
And so, so like you have to exploit that. In one of the games, they were having a problem when Dana was going downhill, and we were small, but people were spaced out, and you run this person into it. Jackie was going downhill, but also a flare was coming. Like, some of those moments were so huge and pivotal to changing the game. And so I love it because I just love sitting back and be like, okay, we're going to do this, that, and that. Like, coming out of a timeout, just like, let's mess with them here and do that. So in that moment, like, my IQ and like my thoughts are just flowing, and I'm loving it. So for me, I love that aspect of it. Like, okay, I found something. Let's exploit it. Oh, they're going to do this? Okay, I found something else because they did that. Like, let's change it this way. And so for me, that's like one of my favorite parts of like the mind games and just switching stuff up in the moment.
What are you doing to prepare for these moments? Do you just have all of these play calls just like locked, right? Like, you got a Rolodex in your head that you can just pull from at any time? Or are you prior to a game being like, okay, if you're watching film and you're like, okay, if they do this with Dana, I got these. If they do this with Jewell, I got that. Jackie, this. Asia, that. Like, how do you prepare for those moments? What works best for you?
Some of it is watching film and how they play certain ball screens or like pass ball screens, but in playoffs, somebody might switch everything up or switch the matchups up. So I know certain plays that each player really likes or that they want to go to. They may not make it, but like they're comfortable in that play, with that play. Or if their defender is this person, who do I bring up? Who do I want to bring up? Are they going to are there tendencies to trap? Can we exploit that? So going into the game, I do kind of have that Rolodex like in my head, but I have conversations with Becky. There's a couple times where I told our assistant coach, CT, I was like, remind me of these 2 plays. I gave her 2 plays, like remind me of those 2 plays. And I ran it like in a third quarter because I had been seeing it first and second quarter. So I was like, all right, they haven't seen this yet. Like, let's go to it. Or if there was one play like Jackie needed a touch going in halftime. She needed one to see go through the basket. Okay, let's call this play to at least give her a good look. And so those, like, it's just a feel, especially with playing with people that you've played with before. Me and Jewell hadn't played with each other, so it took us a minute to kind of figure it out. Or like when she would run in transition, she likes the left side, she likes the right side, like where? And so it just takes time and chemistry and everybody to understand it. And in playoffs, it's all about those little adjustments.
Right. I mean, you bring up Jewell. What have you learned about Jewell? What's been like the best part about playing with Jewell in a WNBA season as opposed to just, I think you've only played with her with USA Basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what was that like? Honestly, it was probably a journey. You guys were on this like journey during the season. So what was that like for you?
A super journey. Like, she was just like, okay, that's where you want me to run. Oh, I understand. Okay, now I got to be ready to shoot this basketball like without, I would come into a pick and roll and just shoot it over to it because the help defender comes in. Like, I understand that it takes kind of an adjustment to play with me sometimes because I won't pass it right away because I see something else. But Jewell's like calmness and confidence, her like quiet confidence is something that I really enjoyed. I'm usually like this calm within the storm. I got everything going on, but it was nice having her presence. And when she speaks, everybody listens. She sent the best text I think she sent all year before game 3 and 4 in the finals. And it was what was needed. Like, it wasn't Asia's voice. It wasn't me in the huddle. It was Jewell's like straight to the point, like, forget all this. Like, it was great. And so I really appreciated the level-headedness and, like, the experience that she exuded throughout the season and really in the playoffs, because that's the, like, most common in my mind. It was really, really fun to compete with. And defensively, too, like, she was on it. And so I really applauded that and respected that it made, like, my appreciation of what she's been through and her journey and why she's had so many championships, and she's 10-0 in the finals. Like, come on now, like,
man.
That I know you were part of. I know you were part of those, and it's cool, and it's great. And she's been used to like playing with you, like she's been used to playing with somebody point guard that sees it for other people. It took her some time. She's been without you for a minute, and then she comes over here and she's like, okay, got it. So it was cool, like her quiet confidence, and she came out of her shell. It was really nice to see and what we needed as a team.
Yeah, Jewell has grown so much. And I think she did do, a lot of little things for you guys. Like even her offensive rebounding.
Like she was in there all the time. I was like, what? All of a sudden I see her flying in there and she saves us possessions. Like stuff that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet. It was perfect for us. But they're winning plays.
Yeah, what did you think when she asked Becky to start coming off the bench? Like, what was the initial thought?
What is happening?
What is this?
What is happening? But she was just like, but we were like we just made a change. Just see if it works. Like, that's the thing. You can always change your mind back. That's the thing with like lineups and changes. Like you can do it again. Like, you can go back to it if it doesn't work. And for her to say that, I felt like that said a lot more about Jewell than anything. It wasn't about like Becky. The team is just like, listen, I'm not getting it done how I want to do it. Let's make a change, and I think this will be better. It took a lot of vulnerability. It took a lot of security in who she is as a person, as a player, to do that. You know, it's you don't
she had to put her ego to the side.
Yeah, you don't
because
see that happen.
The outside world is gonna go, you're not starting.
Yeah,
that's coming.
You know it's coming. It's coming as front, like to Becky, to the organization, to us that get media a lot, is coming to her, like social, everything. And so for her to do that, it took a lot of like strength on her end personally to be able to do that. It shifted for us, like, damn near immediately. Also the list trade, like all of these different things and these building blocks were all building to like bring us all together.
I mean, you're bringing up the midseason trade, but obviously Jewell got there via a trade. You kind of already talked about it taking time. But what was, because I feel like nowadays we just live in a world, you see it in every sport. You see it in every sport. Nowadays we live in a world where a team, you added Jewell Loyd to your roster. Obviously you lost Plum, but you add Jewell Loyd to your roster and people are like, they're wanting to see a fully formed, right, team, like perfectly gelled in 1 week.
Right away.
Yeah, they want to see it immediately. And that takes time. So what was the pressure like there? That's where a lot of the outside noise, it's hard to block out.
Yeah, I feel like she had, I don't want to speak for her, but outside looking in, pressures to be something or be like, it was like you were moving a puzzle piece and adding a different one, and they're supposed to fit the exact same way. And that's just not the way it was going to work. And we were just like, listen, you're completely different. Like, we're different as a unit. Like, it wasn't just, yes, that was a huge part of our trade, but like we got different people from the bench, from the coaching staff to this. Like, a lot of things were different. And so the outside noise with that, it put a lot of pressure, like, okay, well, you're supposed to be doing the same thing. Let's see if you could do it. And us winning and just like, well, we did it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for not having confidence in us in April and May. So there was definitely pressure there to be, when you have these names and these accolades and the experiences and stuff, it's just like you want that because that means you have done something. Like you have achieved these trophies and accomplishments that you've been working for a long time to accomplish. But it's like you accomplished that because like you were free and able to do it. And so it just took time for us as a unit, but her herself to give herself time to just breathe and be herself.
Yeah. Something I definitely realized in talking to Jackie earlier today actually was Becky was also trying to coach a new team, like give or take, and developed chemistry with a new staff.
Yeah.
And just like having to, so you guys were juggling a lot. But the one thing that did remain is like the trio, if you will, of you, Jackie, and Asia. So real quick, what makes Jackie like so difficult to defend?
One, she's strong as hell.
Strong as hell.
She's
God,
in.
I mean, you're strong as hell too. But she's strong as hell.
Yeah.
You guys are both
She
strong
is.
as hell.
And strong like in different ways too, in different moments. Like you're not really gonna move her defensively either. And so she's strong as hell. She's in really, really good shape. And she can score, and there's not a way that she can't score.
Right.
That, to me, puts her in a different category. When she's able to get layups, she's able to do floaters. She'll pick it up, slow pickup. She'll do a Euro. Out in transition, she can catch the ball and finish in traffic. Defensively, she can guard. She can get up and guard. Like she was tasked to guard Kelsey Mitchell and stay in front. She'll guard the point guard, the three. Like there's different players and personnel that she can guard. And so what makes her so good is her ability to do both ends of the floor. But there's not really anything she can't do offensively. So
Yeah.
her being able to do and sustain it all the time because she's in such like so good of a shape. Like it's really good for her.
Support for this show comes from DraftKings. Months of work, countless plays, one final stage. The WNBA Finals are here. Bet on the championship showdown with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the WNBA. DraftKings puts you right in the finals action with player props, live betting, parlays, odd boosts, and more. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BIRD. That's code BIRD to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
What else is there left to say about Asia at this point?
That woman is so good.
Give it to me. How about this? What's one aspect? Because you've talked a lot about her. I've seen a lot of your quotes. I mean, you're watching, in real time, somebody becoming a GOAT and just how special that is for you, for your teammates. What's something under discussed about her game? Like people don't talk about what enough?
I mean, they talk about block shots, but her timing is impeccable. She blocks it in the air. She don't really block it on their hand. She waits for you to put that thing in the air and she's gonna go get it. Two things, her hands, I can throw pretty much any type of pass at her and she's gonna try to go get it and probably catch it. She's saved me from a lot of turnovers. I know that for sure. But I know I'm able to pass it to her because there's been that build. But her hands, she grabs everything. Like defensive rebounding, she's not in position. She's not boxing out. Becky's like, you were supposed to box out.
None of them do.
She ends up getting the rebound.
No good post player boxes out. We know this.
But she's like behind them and she's like, need that. Like, I was just like,
no, they go get it. Oh, they go get it.
Man, that's an old board. And Asia comes out of nowhere and tips it to be able to bring it to herself. So her hands that way. And then two, I think her ability off the dribble and bringing it from a rebound. Like her getting off the glass and bringing it into making a good decision, passing it off the dribble and in traffic. Really, really good. really, really good. She's been able to make dynamic moves, and she's gotten better each year, right? People are like, oh, she doesn't really dribble. Oh, she doesn't really pass. Like, she can't shoot the three. Like, she gets better every year, but her ability to break somebody down off the dribble or make good decisions coming full court, it's been a lot easier for me because I could just wait at half court, and if she brings it, she brings it. If she wants me to come back, I will. So it's been, those are two things where I'm just like, y'all sleeping on her being able to bring it from getting a rebound.
No, something really impressive about her is definitely every year she comes back better. Every year.
Something. Every year.
Every year. I mean, this year, it was like she was toying with the three-point shot. I feel like a couple years ago that started to like enter the picture a little bit. This year, it felt like it was a part of her game. Not to say it's not like a volume situation. You know, she's not there like seeking them out, but when she's open, now she's like hitting at a pretty good clip. But there's other parts of her game each year she just adds. And then there's the off the court part, the leadership part, right? Like who she is as a teammate, which does segue nicely into the texts heard around the world. You guys lost to Minnesota by 53. It was August 2nd. I saw the box score and I said, tough. This is tough. But I also said, interestingly, I was talking to Ryan Ruocco like that day or the next day or something. And he was like, oh, did you see the score? And I was like, this could be a turning point. I mean, listen, it was a 50-50 chance. So I was just playing the odds, but it's like, we all know games like that doesn't speak to talent. That doesn't speak, a loss like that isn't because you guys are bad basketball players. It's like something's up. And sometimes it has to break in order to build it back up. And it sounds like after that game, you know, Asia sends her text. But I'm curious, like when you got the text, and for those that don't know, the text essentially said, this was embarrassing, like you just said, and, you know, give or take, don't come to the gym if A, you're not embarrassed, and B, you're not ready to work. So when you got that text, what was like, how did you respond personally in that moment?
I was even more embarrassed. Like, I was like, oof. Yeah, I'm embarrassed too. You said it in the text, like you put it on paper. Like, I am embarrassed. I'm just like, oof. I don't even want to like anything on social media. I don't want to be on this. Like, I don't want to do anything. Embarrassed. For me, I looked at myself. I was like, Chelsea, you need to get your shit together. Like, this is bad. Like, this isn't. I think that's the worst game or loss that I've ever had in my career in basketball AAU, like when I was 7 years old, like that was a terrible loss. Like, I couldn't believe it. And the way in which it was done on our home floor, like against Minnesota, where everybody had them like pick to win, like it was bad. And so embarrassed was that was the only word that
nailed
you
it.
could use. Yeah,
nailed it.
That was it. And so it was on a back-to-back, I believe, and we had to play the Valkyries. And I felt
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because how pivotal, I think that game it might even be more important than losing by 53 was the response.
We had to come back. Yeah, we had to come back.
And you guys,
vengeance.
Yeah, you beat them by 24. You set I think a franchise record, like 18 threes. So how pivotal, like was that, which was more important, to lose by 53 and be embarrassed, or to like be able to
53.
find it within yourself? Okay.
Embarrassed.
Right, moving on.
It changed it. Like, yes, that game, but it changed like the way we talked, our meeting, like.
Yeah, Becky had you doing scouting reports.
Yeah, it changed like
putting you to
the
work.
trajectory of like how we were going to communicate as a team. Like, we had to get super raw and vulnerable with each other, and like, yo, this doesn't feel good. Sorry for the new people that's here. This ain't haven't happened.
It's not the norm.
I'm not bad. Like, that's on me, you know?
Yeah.
So it was tough. It was very uncomfortable. Like, even thinking about it now, I was like, I don't ever want to feel what I felt going into that film. Imagine watching that film. Like,
no, I can't. Did she make you watch the whole thing?
I haven't seen the whole thing like as like a game by myself.
So it was just the clips. Okay, because you know how sometimes
they'll make you watch the whole thing.
They'll make you watch the whole thing.
Like the clips, because we also had a game the next day. Like,
so maybe honestly, that might have been a gift.
It was like we can't have a film session, you know. But like our attitude, and like we were just so mad the next day coming in the locker room. Like we're usually like looser, listening to music. We were just like,
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely unlocked a lot, right? A lot changed. And a lot of people with your team are always going to talk about offense naturally because you guys are so gifted offensively, like as individuals, as a team. But it's your defense, I think, that kind of like turned. Something changed. So is that like something you guys did different, or is this like an effort thing?
Effort and like the details were just like, oh, we were kind of stubborn sometimes. Like, oh, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll be fine. Even this way, we'll figure it out. And then bam, scored on. Bam, scored on. Becky was like, why are we drilling this stuff? You guys are just like, F it and not going to do it. Like, why are we doing this? And I was just like, you're right. Why are we doing it if we're not going to try it? And so defensively, we got like even tighter and really good. And for me individually, like I had to ask for post clip because I started guarding posts a little bit more. Like I asked for so many more post clips than I did my entire career. And so, but I understood that we were going to go small. And so how to be better in those moments. But defensively, we were just on a string. Like we got our rotations down, even if they're not the most, if they're not the logical. And it's like, we know this person is going to go. We know Asia's going to come and go block that. Why are we fouling? Like, let her go get it. You know Chelsea's going to come over and take a charge and Jackie's going to drop. Like, just let it happen. Like, just let them go so we don't give up a layup. So we, as much as people talk about offensively, like having chemistry, you have to have it defensively too and understand people's tendencies.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, it keeps coming back to vulnerability because in a sense, you need that to have this trust and you need that trust to have that chemistry, especially on defense. Because it is, a defensive chemistry is a lot of trust involved.
Yeah.
Especially as a guard, I think, because you're like blind. You can't see behind you.
Can't see anything.
Yeah.
Like you're trusting everybody else to tell you what's going on.
Yeah. But I'm glad we brought up defense because you said after you guys won that the thing you're most proud of is your defense. Yeah. I don't think this is new. I think this is something that people for some reason are just seeing. I feel like you've always been this way. I don't know if you know this. I think by the end of the season, definitely towards the end, you were number one in opponents' field goal percentage or maybe effective field goal percentage as the closest defender. So if you were close, people were shooting bad, is basically what's that saying. And you were number one in the league.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, this isn't new. But why don't you talk to people about your defense, maybe tell them like what they're not seeing or appreciating?
I believe like IQ does just like, if you got it, you got it. And so it works defensively too.
Yes, it does.
And so things that like, okay, maybe I won't be as quick to point A to point B as Kelsey Mitchell, but I'm going to maybe help in a little bit more or understand the player, the action, and the people that's in it so I can be over 2 more steps so I can get the steal, I can get the deflection. And so my mind just kept on, my mind was super active on both ends. And I wouldn't say I was like a bad defender or anything by any means, but I took a step defensively just by being more aggressive. One, I was healthy and quicker and a lot more like in the best shape. And so I was able to sustain it for longer periods and run up and down and pick up at half court and then drop down and be in the post. And if they were tired and they leave the ball out, I could strip it. Like I would force them into plays that I knew I would have the advantage, especially when I would be playing post players. Because if they put it up there, Asia, come help. But I would
that's not me anymore.
I would bait them into bringing it down so I can strip it, or it gives me more time or somebody else time to get there. So a lot of it was kind of playing mind games to bait them into where I wanted them to go or how I wanted them to finish. And understanding people go back into tendencies. If I know they're going to Euro in transition, I'm going to try to like bait you into Euroing because you know that's your go-to move so I can strip it or be there so at least you'll miss the shot.
How much is film playing a role in this?
Yeah, a lot of it. I ask for clips all the time. Our video coordinator was probably like, here she go again. Like she wants clips of these 4 people. Like, is she guarding 4 people at a time? No.
You're like, not my fault, bro. They're putting me in the post. I got double the people now.
Exactly. Like tendencies, watching film is all about understanding tendencies and what side of the court they like to play on and how they like to finish in transition. Are they going to take a shot over the screen? It's a harder screen to get over, under. And then also we have some film and like numbers behind it. They like this block a little bit better, or they're shooting on this side of the court a little bit more. All of that plays into your mind because you watched it so many times that it kind of becomes second nature. Like, okay, they're about to come off the screen, trying to go downhill right hand. Like, be ready. Come on and get the charge. Come over secondary action. And every team has tendencies. It's just who's going to be able to, do better with, like, creating advantages for them.
I have this theory. I want to see what you think about it.
Okay.
So the part that to me has always like maintained or been sustained, I should say, is like, your ability to like strip the ball. You've got super quick hands. It's actually playing against you. It's annoying because you think you have a layup or you think you have this, or you think you have that, or you're watching your post player do a move and you're like, oh, they got her. And then boom, you're stripping it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think your ball handling and the way you train your ball handling and how good of a ball handler you are has helped with like all of it, like the hand-eye of it all, the quickness of it all? And I definitely think some of it, what you said, having to sniff it out plays a role too.
Yeah.
But that's my theory on you. Because I was like, how did she get good at this? And I was like, man, she's so good at ball handling. And we've all seen your videos pregame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it. Sue, you might be onto something here.
Noodle on that one. You might be onto something.
Yeah. it could be too. And also, like, I think it goes back to, I used to watch and play against, in practice, Elena Beard all of the time in LA. And her timing with stripping and picking them picking guards and stuff at half court, she always told me, like, get it on the way up. Like, I would just hear that over and over. There were so many times I was embarrassed at half court because she's picking me. Why are you picking me up full court? What are we doing here? I'm trying to learn to play. And
terrorizing you.
Yeah, experiencing that kind of prepared me. But the ball handling part, I can kind of get with you on that. I can understand what you're saying. I feel you.
You like Miyagi'd yourself. You didn't even know you were doing it. Well, Charles, before I let you go, let's talk a little bit about just like you're headed into the offseason. We joked at the top, I think before we started recording, but we joked like, whenever you win, it's the best offseason ever.
Yeah.
You get to just live in this. You get to be in this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're headed into the offseason as a champ. Are you looking to defend your Unrivaled title?
I for sure am. Let's go.
Let's go. Is it going to be the same teams? Are you going to have the same team? Do you know yet?
I think I'm still on road. I think they're trying to figure that out, what that looks like. But yes, for sure. Anytime. Anytime you win and you come back to it, you're just like, people trying to take you out, which is fine. So I'm trying to repeat. So we'll see.
Okay.
But I'm excited. There's a lot more like people and teams and a lot more eyes will be on it. So it's good for basketball.
All right, I got one more question. And Tommy, who I referenced earlier, he asked me this. It was a great question. And I was thinking about it because of Unrivaled and last year's WNBA free agency. And it's like, you guys are all in the same place and you're all chatting. So much is happening. So for a second, live in a world where the CBA gets done. Like it gets signed, it's done. And so now you're a GM. And I'll give you like one kind of thought around it, which is we all know the money's going up. Mm-hmm. So the salary cap's going to be, much bigger. Max salary is much bigger. But as everyone knows, the whole freaking league is a free agent. So you're a GM, put your GM hat on. Like what are you doing? How are you approaching this?
I'm asking players that like 3 to 4 players that that you want to resign. Like that's your top priority. I'm asking them for a wish list. I'm probably asking, okay, if that doesn't work, who are your next pieces that fit your team? That's another thing. Like, I know this is the end. Everybody that's like really, really great or like great players, they don't always fit together. They just don't. And so there'll be a piece or just like, why did they sign them? They could have got this. And it's like, no, but it fits our offense. It fits our defense perfectly. And when those two marry each other, it's like, oh, wow, they're a lot better than like we thought. So as a GM, I would ask for like, here's the players, like, give me a wish list. Like, who do you really want to play with or who can you go get? Who do you think you can go get? And then I would be like, okay, can you go have a conversation with them? Like, are they at Unrivaled?
Do you want their number?
Like, like hit them up, see what their vibe is. Because if it's a no, it's just like, let's get ahead of the game with somebody else. So those are the two things right away. I would kind of see, like, are you open to even coming here? Are you, is this something where you can possibly see down the road? Like, that's the route that I would take, and you kind of fill in from there.
Okay. Yeah. If we thought free agency was spicy the last couple of years,
it's going to be crazy this year.
Crazy. I don't even know what to expect. It's
Man,
gonna be
I'm gonna have to get
crazy.
some dark shades. Be like, ooh, I see that. Like, you know, when people look over their glasses, because
Yeah.
everybody gonna be in Unrivaled. I'll just be like, I see them over there talking. What they got
Oh
cooking?
yeah.
All
Like why
right.
they get? Oh, they went and got coffee.
Why I see them
They're
at the
chatting at
restaurant
coffee.
getting coffee? Like, what they got going? What they talking about?
Exactly.
So
Oh, it's
it'll
going to
be
be
fun.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for coming on. This was fun. Usually when I do the show, I kind of get into like origin stories and background. It was actually fun to just like chat about a playoff run.
Yeah.
So this is great. Yeah. Thank
Pretty
you so
fun.
much
I
for
feel
coming
like that's
on.
what our conversations always are. Like just
Yeah, for
having
sure.
a simple conversation for sure.
Yeah. Congratulations again. Enjoy this off season. Good luck in Unrivaled. Parade on Friday. So have fun.
Man.
I think
Yeah.
this drops on Friday. So have fun today.
Oh,
Enjoy
perfect.
it. I can't wait. You guys, honestly, definitely, I don't know. You're definitely like the most fun team to watch on social media. You already been doing it. I heard KB got banned from TikTok because you guys were going crazy on live.
That was when I don't even know what we did for real. Like this isn't the craziest that we ever been. Like Friday might get a little crazy. I don't know, but we haven't even. I feel like we haven't been that crazy like all the time. Like it was nonstop sometimes before, but
Yeah.
the parade might get a little wicked.
I'll be tuned in. Again, enjoy it. Have the best time. I don't want to keep it from any more parties, so I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. That was our conversation with Chelsea Gray. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So much fun just to like talk shop with one of the smartest players in the league. You can tell she's just constantly thinking ahead, right? Not just playing the game and thinking ahead, film sessions, thinking ahead, thinking about offense, thinking about defense. So it was really fun to pick Chelsea's brain, to get her thoughts on dynasties. We kind of talked about everything and I really enjoyed it. And now she gets to enjoy her off season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. See you next time. This episode is a co-production of Together and Vox Media. Our producers are Tommy Alter, Jason Gallagher, Richie Bozick, Harry Krinsky, Jess Clarendon, and Melanie Carter. Support for Bird's Eye View comes from the all-electric Toyota BZ. The true test of a first-rate intellect is the ability to change one's mind. That's a quote from me. I just made it up. But it sounds good, doesn't it? So maybe it's time to revisit your thoughts on battery electric vehicles with the all-electric Toyota BZ. I've already told you about a few of its amazing features. Its EPA estimated driving range rating up to 314 miles, its versatile charging capabilities, available premium JBL 9-speaker audio system, its sleek and chiseled design. So I won't repeat myself. All I'll say is, go check it out for yourself. The all-electric BZ. One drive can change your mind. Learn more at toyota.com/BZ. Toyota. Let's go places.